Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is the Street 3 here, back for NCAA football, college football recap for week 5. It is a Monday night, so a bit later than I wanted to be recording this. But we're here. Great week for football. Honestly, been a good year, but I think this was the best week, in my opinion. Start off with Virginia Tech and Miami. Cam Ward, one of the Heisman favorites, playing Virginia Tech, who was projected to be a top 25 team and one of the best ACC teams. They are sitting at 2-3 and having a lot of struggles this year. But this game was down to the wire. As you can see, Miami's victory on overtime comes down to a controversial final play. Miami comes back. Virginia Tech gets the ball. Hail Mary. Originally ruled touchdown. Call was reversed to not a touchdown. Game over. Looking at the footage, it's very controversial. A lot of people on the internet are saying that it should have been stated as a touchdown. People are thinking that, it's the ACC wanting Miami to stay alive because the ACC is a weak conference and they want to make sure that Miami goes undefeated and gets in the playoffs. But I'd love to know you guys' opinion on the game if you think that Virginia Tech was robbed of this big time win, which would put them at 3-2 and would maybe be a big bolster to them for the year ahead. But either way, Cam Ward played great, 343 yards, 4 touchdowns. But controversial card nonetheless. Texas versus Mississippi State. This game's a lot closer than expected. Arch Manning still playing. A great game. Only missed 5 passes, 224 yards. Could have had more, like a 60-yarder that some dude just dropped. Wisner, the third string, technically fourth string this year, 88 yards. Moore had 103 yards. This was a lot closer than expected. Texas had 2 turnovers, both by Jadon Blue, 2 fumbles. Those fumbles allowed Texas to not score and ruined big drives when they were already getting close to the red zone, probably going to score. So that gave Mississippi State the momentum. Because honestly, without those 2 fumbles, this probably would have been, 49, maybe even 50 points for Texas, and Mississippi State might not have even scored a touchdown. I would say give them 6, 2 field goals. So without the 2, actually, let's say Texas doesn't have the 2 fumbles and they score on both those drives and they keep the momentum going. I'm saying that Texas wins 56-9. Maybe Mississippi State gets 3 field goals, if that. And we'll go back as to why them not covering the spread is crucial. But Texas played its worst game of the year and still won 35-13. The run game finally got going in the fourth quarter, but Texas plays Oklahoma next week. We'll get into that later, but not the best game for Texas. But when you play your worst game of the year by far and you win 35-13, that's pretty good. Let's go down to the game of the week. Georgia and Alabama. Georgia has not lost until now, as you can see, had not lost a regular season game in, I think, 2 years? This was crazy. If you look at the first quarter, Alabama is up 21-0 in the first quarter, and they scored 9 in the second. So they're up 30-7 at halftime against Georgia, one of the best teams in the nation. Carson Beck had, I think, 2 interceptions in the first quarter alone. Crazy stuff. Georgia then starts to pull back, as you see, they scored 8. Alabama scored 3 in third, and then in the fourth they scored 19. So Georgia actually was up 34-31. They come back and take the lead. The very next play, this kid, Williams from Alabama, who was a freshman, also only 17 years old, so he went to college early. It was like a 60-yard touchdown, 2-on-1. Unbelievable play. I'm not going to show it again because copyright infringement. Alabama retakes the lead. Georgia still goes down in the red zone, passing the end zone, intercepted for Carson Beck's third. So he had 439 yards. I think probably 3/4 of that came, maybe even more than 3/4 came in that second quarter alone. Alabama upsets Georgia. People were thinking that, Nick Saban's out. New coach DeBoer that came from Washington. It's now time for Georgia to assert its dominance over the SEC. Nope. Alabama still beats Georgia. It's funny to watch. And Georgia has a lot of questions about its team. A lot of questions. But again, they proved that they're still a great team with their comeback. But let's go ahead and look at the game cast here. A little bit closer to the game cast. Milroe. 374 yards, 1 interception. Only missed 6 passes. Also had 117 yards rushing. Williams, again, the 17-year-old, had 172 yards receiving. Not a lot of good on the ground for the Bulldogs here. Getting Carson back those three interceptions. People were saying that he does not deserve to be the Heisman. Obviously, he was in the top 10 voting. Definitely won't be now. He did not have a good game, except for the fourth quarter, pretty much. But a lot of questions unanswered for that game. And probably one of the best games I've seen in my entire life. To be frank, that was an incredible game. Georgia and Alabama never disappoints. In Alabama, people thought that, oh, they might not be good this year. They might lose a couple games and might not even be in the top 3 of SEC teams. Well, you thought wrong. Alabama is still here. I honestly think that DeBoer is going to continue the Alabama success, and they're going to be competing for a national championship for the next decade. And DeBoer will probably be at Bama for a long time and might win some championships. He is a great coach. He's been successful everywhere. But what a game. Ohio State and Michigan State, no surprise there. Ohio State wins 38-7. Going down to the big upset of the day. Ole Miss beats Kentucky. People were saying, oh, Ole Miss's year to try and win the SEC. Again, they haven't played anyone all year, to be frank. Their first SEC game, they lose to Kentucky. Now, Kentucky almost beat Georgia as well. So Kentucky has a very good defense. Mark Stoops is their coach, as we know. Bob Stoops, Mark Stoops. Stoops family are known for their defenses. So he had a great defense. Kentucky played great against Dart. They limited their breakaway plays, which is how Ole Miss scores. I keep saying Mississippi State. It's how Ole Miss scores. So if you limit those, they can't score. Lee Jackson Dart, only 261 yards, only 1 touchdown. That's not a lot for him. And they did in Oxford. Ole Miss missed a game-tying field goal in the 4th. Kentucky pulls off the upset. They're a dangerous team. They are definitely a dangerous team. I don't think they probably won't be in the top 25 at the end of the year, but they will probably keep every team that they play really close. Oregon, UCLA, no surprise there. They win 34-13 again, as I said before. UCLA, probably one of the worst Power 5 teams in the nation for multiple decades. They've always been on the bottom tier. Illinois and Penn State. More of a defensive game, 21-7. Illinois undefeated. They were 4-0, number 19 in the country. Upset, I guess, not really upset. They beat Nebraska last week, who was also undefeated. But Penn State, their first, I guess, true test of the year, and they pull off the win. Illinois starts off the game with 7 points. They do not score again the rest of the game. So impressive for Penn State. Arizona, another big upset. Upsets Utah. Again, Cam Rising is out. Wilson did not have the best game. 20-40. That's only 50%, 280 yards. See how Noah Fifta did. Obviously, Noah Fifta was one of my personal opinion, thought he was going to be one of the Heisman favorites, but he is not having a great year. Again, their coach left to take a job at Washington, and they also are not very good. So I think he made a big mistake in leaving Arizona. Huge mistake. Big win by Arizona, their first Big 12 game ever, as well as Utah's first Big 12 game ever. And they pull off the upset. They're 3-1. They probably will be ranked again this week. And I think that could be a big win for them to catalyst them back into prominence. As I said before, I think Arizona is going to go to the playoffs this year. And I think this is going to be a start of a big drive for them, and they might finish the rest of the season undefeated. Moving on, Michigan survives Minnesota. Now, Minnesota tried the downside and got it. However, they called it back, saying that they were offsides. They weren't. So again, questionable call, the wrong call. So I'm interested to see what you guys thought about that. Wanting to keep Michigan winning, but they are now 4-1. Again, they only lost to Texas. But yeah, USC and Wisconsin. As you can see, Wisconsin was up at the half, 21-10, and then USC scores 21 unanswered in the second half, and does not let Wisconsin score again. They end up winning 38-21. They were looking in trouble. Moss 30-45, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns. Comeback win, big win for USC. LSU playing South Alabama, no problem there, 42-10. Notre Dame beats Louisville. Honestly, I'm not surprised. Louisville is a very overrated team, in my opinion. So yeah, the battle of the overrated. I think they're both extremely overrated programs. Clemson, 40-0, 40-14 against Stanford. So they're playing pretty good. Pablo Sweeney trying to keep Clemson in the top teams in the nation. I doubt they'll. Let's play. If Clemson plays SEC teams, they'll get smacked. Let's be real. They probably will get in the playoff, but their first game, they're going to lose, in my opinion. Iowa State versus Houston. Houston, what a dumpster fire they had become. They used to be a really great non-Power 5 team that would upset Power 5 teams constantly, and they moved to the Big 12, and they suck. Really bad. 20-0 for Iowa State. Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Now, Kansas State came off a big loss. They got blown out by BYU. They now blow out Oklahoma State, who now have lost 2 games in a row. They will probably be out of the top 25. 42-20. Avery Johnson had 5 total touchdowns. 259 yards. That's a lot for him. He does not normally throw that much. But he is a dual threat, as all dual threats. Let's look in. Oklahoma and Auburn. Now, Oklahoma was down, as you can see. They were down 14-7 at the half. And then they have a big fourth quarter, including a pick 6. So Auburn was up, and Oklahoma grabs a pick 6, and that's what wins them the game. Thorne had a great game, 21-32, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then a late interception, and Auburn loses. It would have been a big upset. Oklahoma again has a not very good offense, but a great defense. They will play Texas, and we'll get into that. BYU playing Baylor, 34-28. A bit closer than I expected. As you can see, they scored 21 in the first quarter, and then it was 31-14. And Baylor nearly came back, but W holds on. And then of course the Southwest Classic. Arkansas and A&M always play the AT&T Stadium. A&M again pulls out. I think they're like 11-1 against Arkansas since they've joined the SEC, and they do it again, barely holding on. Massive fumble late in the fourth. Again, a heartbreaker for Arkansas, as always. They always lose in upsetting fashion. They're now 3-2. Texas A&M is 4-1. Washington State and Boise State. Washington State, obviously one of the last 2 Pac-12 teams. As we know, expansion has come. Boise State actually will be joining the Pac-12, as well as some other teams that are trying to revitalize the Pac-12. But a little precursor of what's to come. Boise State blows them out. Boise State is a real threat, and they have, in my opinion, the Heisman favorite in the running back, 259 yards and 4 touchdowns on only 26 carries. This guy has over 100. I think he has 875 rushing yards and only 86 carries and 14 touchdowns, or 13, which is insane. The best running back in the nation, and the best running back we've seen in a long time, I gotta tell you. But that's it. Colorado. If we go to Big 12, Colorado blew out. Kansas lost again. Colorado blew out UCF. People were thinking that UCF was going to beat them. Nope. Colorado proves they are the real deal. They blew out UCF. 2-0 in the Big 12. 2-0. Pretty impressive. I think Colorado is severely underrated. I think they just got to get things in work, get things in line, figure it out. Let's go to the rankings real quick. You can see Alabama jumped Texas after their win. I think it's because Texas didn't cover the spread and circled. I think is why, and rightfully so. I still think maybe Texas should be number 1 because they've beaten everyone. They've beaten everyone handily. but I mean, what a great win. So I can understand them jumping Texas. Ohio State at 2, Tennessee up to 4, Georgia drops 3 to number 5. Oregon, Penn State running up the top 7. We've got Miami at 8, Missouri at 9, Michigan at 10. So the Big Ten has 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the top 10, and the SEC has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a battle of the Big Ten versus the SEC. Obviously, they are the two programs, two best conferences in the nation. Period. Then we got USC, Ole Miss, who dropped 6 after upset loss to Kentucky. LSU up 1 to fit 13, Notre Dame at 14. Clemson at 15, Iowa State at 16. BYU jumps up 5, number 17. Utah drops 8, all the way down to 18, from 10 to 18. Oklahoma moves up 2 to 19. Kansas State up 3 to 20. Boise State up 4 to 21, well deserved. Louisville drops down 7 to 22. Indiana undefeated, 5-0. Illinois down 5. 24. A&M 4-1. Oh, UNLV, we'll talk about that as well. So obviously Oklahoma State dropped. Arizona is up there. Pittsburgh. Now Army and Navy are undefeated, as is Rutgers undefeated. I think Jason Maz might be undefeated too. Let's talk about that game. Let's go scores. UNLV. What conference are they in? I couldn't tell you. Let's just find it. Oh, this is week 6. Let's find it if we can. UNLV. See, where are they? Let's top 25. UNLV. There's Army undefeated. Rutgers undefeated. Again, Washington. The coach from Arizona moved to Washington. They're now 3-2. Bad move. Will Rogers they got from Mississippi State. He's not going to have much success there. I'm going to be honest with you. Should have stayed. Let me see, where are they? Nebraska beat Purdue. UConn 3-2. Good for them. Northern Illinois loses again. They've lost 2 in a row. It's unfortunate. Syracuse 31. Harold McCord played Ohio State last year. Only lost 1 game, but transferred. He's having a great year. Navy, as I said, undefeated. Tulane 3-2, 45-10. I think they're going to probably win the rest of their games this year. James Madison 63-7. Again, yeah, they are undefeated. Here we go. UNLV 49-14. Now here's the thing about UNLV. All right, they had a quarterback transfer that said that UNLV offered him $100K, not in writing, a verbal agreement to transfer. He got $3K of it. Since he only got $3K of his $100K promised, quote unquote, he has decided to redshirt and not play and has walked out on his team. Now, running back also followed suit. Now, his lawyer, his agent, excuse me, said that it was a verbal agreement. Which, if money is involved, a verbal agreement is idiotic. Also, apparently, his agent is under scrutiny for fraud or something like that, and he's might go to jail. So that's not looking good for him. So some people say that they didn't pay him. It's just schools trying to take money from him. Maybe he's lying. Maybe now that they're undefeated and he's really a quarterback, he wants more money, but they're saying no, piss off. So we don't really know who's telling the truth here. But UNLV, the backup, his name is Williams. He has a huge game and is a dual threat, as you can see. 182 yards passing, 119 yards rushing. So maybe the backup quarterback might be better than this dude, and what a big mistake that you run out on your team. Like, money aside, we get it. But you ran out on his team, and they might be better for it. So good luck finding a new college to take you. You won't go in the NFL, that's for sure, but that's just my opinion. Let's go ahead and go to week 6 to see what we can look forward to. Top 25, please. Michigan State and Oregon, that should be a blowout. Syracuse and UNLV, that's a good game. UNLV is now ranked at 25. Syracuse, that's going to be a great, great game right there. Can UNLV pull it off? Probably. I'll be rooting for them, for sure. Penn State and UCLA, that should be a blowout. Missouri and A&M, this might be closer than you think. A&M has a great defense, but not a good offense. It's a bit better with the backup, the starter, whatever his name was, one of the worst quarterbacks in the nation. So I'm glad they benched him. That guy sucks. Versus Missouri, going to be a really close game, I think. But I'm honestly, even though I'm from Texas, I would want Missouri to be successful. They haven't been successful in a long time. It'd be cool to see them be successful. SMU blew out. Oh, that's what I wanted. I wanted to show you guys about that. SMU blew out Florida State, who's now like 1-4. It's laughable. All that talk they did in the offseason, and they're now one of the worst teams in the nation. It's so funny. They should bench DJ Ugalele. That guy sucks. Anyways, they're playing Louisville. Upset alert right here. I'm telling you. I personally am picking SMU to pull up the upset. And their first year in the ACC, I hope they do. Go SMU. Iowa and Iowa State. Ohio State, not Iowa State. Blowout game, no chance. Auburn and Georgia. Blowout game, no chance. Ole Miss and South Carolina. I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen here. Kentucky definitely better than South Carolina, in my opinion. Actually, didn't South Carolina beat Kentucky? Actually, I don't remember. I think they did, but could be pretty close. Might be upset alert as well. Indiana and Northwestern should be easy for the Indiana Hoosiers, who are undefeated. 23, good for them. Alabama and Vandy, blowout. Clemson and Florida State, blowout. Utah State and Boise State, blowout. Tennessee and Arkansas, blowout. Tennessee might be the real deal this year. I'm telling you guys right now, they might be the real deal. Michigan, Washington, blowout for Michigan. USC at Minnesota. Hey, Minnesota almost beat Missouri, so never know. Baylor, Iowa State, and then Miami, California. So I was wrong. Texas has a bye week, and then next week they'll play Oklahoma. So a lot of blowouts here, in my personal opinion. Could be a couple upsets, but should be some blowouts, so not as fun as a week. But I could be wrong, you never know, with college football. But that is it for week 5. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Again, comment what your thoughts are on the Virginia Tech and Miami game. Was Virginia Tech robbed? What about Minnesota with Michigan? Or was Minnesota robbed? But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content. We've got more Space Marine 2 coming. We've got more Hawaii Dynasty coming. Appreciate the support as always. And this is Z33 signing out. And as always, stay frosty.